Hey guys, Kinesis Crab here, and today I want to do what I actually made this channel to do, and talk to you about video games. What I'm gonna discuss today is the Pokemon franchise. So lately, I've been playing Pokemon Watch.
This is some quality footage right here. 9 out of 10 professionalism. Can't beat this.
And I realized something. A shit ton of people play Pokemon, but why? What exactly makes these games so popular? Are they not just an RPG with a bunch of animals?
Scratch attack. Do the scratch attack. Esper, do the scratch attack. Do the scratch attack. You did it.
Well, that's what I want to talk about today. Why I like Pokemon, and why others might like it too. And hopefully, anyone not well versed in it can figure that out along with me. Well, one of the things that can be brought up is the plot of the game. Catch them all. The end. Now while, in all seriousness, this is a very simple plot, this actually makes the game much more engaging. There's very few moments where you can actually be playing and not somehow be getting closer to the main goal. If you see a Pokemon, the Pokédex tells you where to find it. If you're grinding, you might run into a rare one. You never really do anything that has a 0% chance of helping you. One thing about this plot specifically is it's perfectly designed for a video game. Now, granted, it does indeed have anime adaptations, but let's analyze that for a second. If you were to watch Pokemon The Origin, which is an anime retelling of Pokemon Red, and you haven't played the game, are you really going to enjoy that anime? Well, maybe so. But the events going on feel like something you should really be experiencing and causing firsthand, because the task of battling and capturing monsters lends itself incredibly well to an interactive medium rather than one you have no control over. An interactive goal of capturing and finding every monster also leads to an amazing feeling of discovery. So for this point, we're going to go back to a time before the internet was what it is today.
This information needs more distractions next to it.
If you're on the playground playing Pokemon and you hear all these crazy rumors around you, hey, if you glitch the game and cut down this, you can find a Mew hiding there. Hey, there's this weird Pokemon I saw once. You really didn't have any reason to believe or doubt any of these rumors you'd hear, so you'd go out into the game and try to find what's out there. Now sure, most rumors you'd hear were just some pretend things friends made up or something they read somewhere, but if you discovered the one successful glitch to getting Mew or finding MissingNo, you felt really excited and accomplished. You discovered something completely hidden, possibly all on your own. It's an amazing feeling, and that's what Pokemon is really all about. Of course, the internet can ruin this sense of surprise and adventure. Even in modern generations, if you avoid researching this stuff, you can feel just as good about figuring something like that out. Trust me, there is some surprising secrets in X and Y to be found. For example, why don't you try exploring some of the random buildings in Lumio City? You might find something you wouldn't believe.
Nope.
One of the other big things about Pokemon is its incredibly large roster of usable monsters. You've probably played an RPG before. If you haven't, well usually there's a cast of characters and they fight things. The RPG with the least amount of playable characters I've played before is probably Secret of Mana with only 3.
I don't actually own that game anymore.
And the one with the most was probably Final Fantasy VI with 14.
Alright, everybody's gonna learn the Ultima spell.
But that is really nothing compared to Pokemon. The first generation, Red, Blue, Yellow, has 151 Pokemon. The second generation, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, expands this with 100 new Pokemon. The third generation, Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire, introduced 135 new Pokemon. Generation 4, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, adds 107. Generation 5, Black and White, adds 156, and Generation 6, X and Y, adds 69. This totals to 718 Pokemon. That leads to an enormous amount of customization and parties the player can choose from. In fact, almost every player has a somewhat different party than the next, and it really doesn't matter what party you choose, you're going to be able to beat the game.
My 6 Magikarps are so OP, they could beat anything.
In fact, almost anyone can beat the main story of a Pokemon game. Especially X and Y, if you're actually spending time with your Pokemon, it won't be difficult at all.
Getting so many extra experience points.
Now, on the outside, this makes the game seem really easy, and that isn't totally wrong. Pokemon is really newcomer friendly, but it can also get really deep. Everything I'm about to say is really complicated, and I'm gonna try to simplify it, but remember, you don't need to know any of this to just play the game for fun. See, each Pokemon in the wild has these things called IVs. No, not that. These are individual values. Basically, it's the stats, defense, speed, that kind of thing, of the Pokemon, and decides the stat growth. In addition to those, every Pokemon you fight up to level 50 gives you an EV or effort value. So basically, say you're a competitive player and you want a super high defense Snorlax. Whether or not that's actually a good idea, I do not know, but we're going to pretend it is. You'll keep obtaining Snorlaxes, either through saving before catching one and doing it over and over until it has what you want, or you'll breed it, which is where you stick it in a daycare with Pokemon to make an egg that will hatch into another Snorlax. There's more to that, but that's irrelevant. Okay, so now you have Snorlax with super good defense IVs, and you want to try to get it defense EVs. So now you go train it by having it fight only Pokemon that give defense EVs.
If you'd like some more exciting information after that, I would suggest looking up paint dries for 10 minutes on YouTube. I'm sure you can find something like that.
Now the thing is, most of this information is hidden, so you actually need to know what you're doing to do it. So any pre-X and Y game, which simplified this process immensely, you could strategize really hard and make what you think is the ultimate team test against others in tournaments, which are a thing they have. And that's when you feel like a true Pokemon champion. And you won't forget that, because not everyone can do it. In fact, you won't forget about a lot of things you do in Pokemon, and that's another factor to its popularity. Nostalgia. Lots of kids grew up with Pokemon. It's been around since the 90s and new kids get into it every day. It's hard to meet someone who's never heard of Pokemon in some way, shape, or form, and if you grew up with it like me, it's always going to bring back happy childhood memories, like that time when, regardless of how you went in with nothing but a level 75 Charizard and some guys who were level 40, you managed to beat the game. Another nostalgic thing about the game is each generation's rival. For this section, I'm going to focus on the rival Blue, because most people are familiar with him, either through the first games or his anime adaptation Gary. Blue constantly talks about how good of a trainer he is, and you'll see in all the gyms you go to, he's been there and beat them already. You both start your adventure at the same time. The only real difference is his first Pokemon is always the one that your first Pokemon will be weak to typing-wise. Real quick, Pokemon types are like Grass, Water, Fire, Fire, Beast, Grass, that kind of thing. You see him a lot on your journey, and he shows you how strong you've gotten. You used to be a kid with a Pidgey and a Rattata, but now you have strong enough Pokemon to take out a Blastoise. It really makes you feel like you're getting stronger and accomplishing something, and in the final battle, when you defeat him once and for all, and become the true champion, nothing feels better than knowing you defeated that smug jerk who's been acting tougher than you this whole time. And let's say that you play it and you just can't beat it. Well, if your childhood is like many others, but not mine because no one played Pokemon in my area, then you could trade with a friend. Let's say your friend has already beaten the game and he has a level 60 Pikachu, and you really need that to help you win. Well, you could just trade with him for it.
Dude, come on, I really need to borrow your level 60 Pikachu. You have like 6 of them, you asshole, you don't need it.
Pokemon encourages this. It encourages you to make friends with other people and trade with them when you're having trouble. It's also why there's at least 2 versions of the game every generation. Some Pokemon are in one version and some are in the other to encourage you to go talk to others who have the games and see new Pokemon you couldn't get alone. The game also actively rewards this as well as catching any Pokemon you can get on your own. Throughout most of the games, you can run across someone like a Professor's Aide, who will give you a prize for capturing a certain amount of Pokemon. In fact, in Black 2 and White 2, if you can complete the Pokédex, you can get something really special, but it wouldn't be any fun if I just told you what it was.
Whoa, holy shit.
Okay, so now let's say you've played one of the games. You've done all this. You've had your fun. Why would you want to buy more of the games? Well, each generation introduces new things. We've already talked about the new Pokemon each game gives, but it isn't just that either. You play as someone different each time. In a whole new world they live in.
It's a whole new way to see. It's a whole new place with brand new attitude, but you still gotta catch 'em all and sing terribly.
Oh yeah, and a whole new rival whose personality can range from heartless guy to best friend.
Man, fuck you, Pokemon Trainer, question mark, question mark, question mark.
It's another separate grand adventure, with all the great parts of the last ones, as well as its own unique settings and new things. Generation 2 and Generation 6 even introduce new Pokemon types to really make things feel new and fresh. So what makes Pokemon cool? Why exactly do I like it? Well, there's tons of cool monsters, I can take it as seriously as I want, it reminds me of childhood, I feel like I'm accomplishing things, and each game is a new adventure, as well as, it's just fun. Even with all that, there's a lot to Pokemon I haven't even addressed, so go forth to whatever game stands out most in your eyes and journey into the world of Pokemon. I'm Kinesis Crab, and I'll see you next time.